What if a single, almost invisible detail was enough to unravel months of silence and ignite one of the biggest fan storms of the year? Kai's New Year livestream was supposed to be simple. A warm greeting, a quiet celebration, a moment to thank fans and close the year with calm positivity. No announcements, no drama, no surprises. That was the expectation. But live broadcasts have a way of revealing what rehearsed appearances never do. And on this night, one tiny detail changed everything. At first, nothing felt unusual. Kai appeared relaxed, dressed casually, his voice steady, his smile familiar. Fireworks echoed faintly in the distance as the countdown to the new year loomed. Fans flooded the comment section with greetings, hearts, and wishes for health and success. It felt intimate, almost domestic, as if he had invited millions of people into a private corner of his life. Then it happened. Not a statement, not a confession, just a detail. For a split second, as Kai leaned closer to read the comments, something caught the light. It was subtle, so subtle that many missed it the first time. But the internet never misses anything for long. A reflection, a movement behind him, and most importantly, an object that did not belong to the image he had carefully maintained. Fans froze. Screenshots followed instantly. Clips were replayed in slow motion. What was that? Why was it there? And why did Kai, for just one heartbeat, hesitate before adjusting the camera? That hesitation became the moment everything shifted. This story isn't over. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. We follow the moments and emotions of your favorite TV stars. Stay with us. The live stream continued, but the atmosphere had changed. Kai's eyes flickered off screen more than usual. His smile softened, then tightened, as if he were suddenly aware of something he had tried hard not to reveal. He laughed, but it came a second too late. He spoke, but his tone had changed. Fans felt it before they understood it. This was no longer just a New Year greeting. The detail in question was ordinary to the untrained eye, almost meaningless. But to fans who have followed Kai for years, who know his habits, his spaces, his patterns, it was anything but ordinary. It did not match his known environment. It did not fit his past broadcasts. And it carried implications far beyond decoration. Speculation erupted in real time. Comments stopped being about New Year wishes and started asking questions. Rapid ones. Emotional ones. Questions Kai did not answer. Questions he pretended not to see. And that silence was louder than any confirmation. Within minutes of the live stream ending, the internet exploded. Fan forums lit up. Side-by-side comparisons appeared. Past live stream screenshots were analyzed. Theories stacked upon theories, each more detailed than the last. Some fans insisted it meant nothing. Others were already convinced it meant everything. Because this was not the first time something like this had happened. Kai has always been careful, almost meticulously so. Over the years, he has mastered the art of presence without exposure. He shows just enough to stay connected, but never enough to be decoded. Which is why this slip, this single overlooked detail, felt so shocking. It wasn't just what appeared on screen. It was what it suggested. Fans began connecting the dots backward. Recent schedule changes. A softer public image. A noticeable shift in the way he spoke about time, about rest, about what mattered. Things that once felt vague suddenly felt intentional. During a live stream, one line stood out in hindsight. As fireworks sounded outside, Kai paused and said that this year felt different. That the coming year felt important. That some things were worth protecting quietly. At the time, it sounded poetic. Now fans hear it as a clue. The most intense reaction came not from what Kai showed, but from what he did not deny. When comments directly referenced the detail, he glanced down, smiled faintly, and moved on. No clarification, no laughter, no dismissal, just silence. And in celebrity language, silence is rarely empty. What made the moment even more powerful was how human it felt. Kai did not panic. He did not end the live stream abruptly. He simply became more careful, more present, more aware. as if he realized that the wall between his public and private world had thinned, if only for a moment. That vulnerability is what sent fans into emotional overdrive. Because for years, fans have followed a version of Sukai shaped by roles and appearances. Strong characters, controlled interviews, perfect lighting. But in that live stream, during those few unscripted seconds, they saw something else. A man living a life just slightly out of frame. As the New Year countdown ended, Sukai thanked everyone sincerely. His voice was calm, but his eyes were different. Softer. Reflective. Almost protective. When he wished everyone happiness, it felt less like a performance and more like a promise. And then the screen went dark. But the conversation had only just begun. Hours later, the live stream was still trending. Not because of what Sukai said, but because of what he almost revealed. Fans argued, analyzed, defended, celebrated, and worried all at once. Some felt betrayed by the possibility of change. Others felt honored to have witnessed such an unguarded moment. And many felt something deeper. That they had just seen the beginning of a new chapter. Whether intentional or accidental, that tiny detail shattered the illusion of total control. It reminded everyone that behind the fame is a real person, navigating real transitions, carrying real responsibilities. Sukai did not confirm anything that night, but he did something far more powerful. He let the truth breathe for just a second. And sometimes, that is all it takes to change the way a story is told. In the days that followed, the aftermath of that live stream refused to fade. If anything, it grew louder, deeper, more emotional with every passing hour. What began as curiosity evolved into obsession, not because fans wanted scandal, but because they sensed sincerity. That fleeting detail had felt too real to be accidental, too intimate to be meaningless. Sukai remained silent. No clarification. No follow-up post. No playful denial to calm the storm. And, in that silence, meaning multiplied. Fans began to notice how carefully he had navigated the live stream after that moment. The way he shifted his position, subtly narrowing the frame. The way his eyes checked the screen corners before speaking. The way his tone softened, as if he were suddenly sharing space with someone unseen. These were not the movements of a man caught off guard by gossip. They were the instincts of someone protecting something precious. Old interviews resurfaced. Clips where Sukai spoke about privacy being a form of respect. About how some joys lose their meaning when they are consumed by the public. At the time, those words felt philosophical. Now they felt personal. Almost confessional. Fans replayed one specific moment from the live stream again and again. A brief pause, barely a second long, where Sukai stopped mid-sentence, listened to something off-camera, then smiled in a way that was completely unguarded. Not the polished smile of a celebrity, but the quiet smile of someone reassured. That smile broke people. Because it was new. Because it was unfamiliar. Because it looked like happiness he was not trying to sell. Speculation shifted tone after that. It was no longer about exposing something hidden. It became about understanding a transformation. Fans began asking different questions. Not what is he hiding, but what has changed him. Not who is in his life, but how deeply they matter. The New Year livestream, in retrospect, felt symbolic. A man standing at the threshold between who he has been and who he is becoming. One foot in the familiar world of roles and expectations, the other in a life that demands presence, sacrifice, and quiet strength. That tiny detail became a marker, a timestamp in his story, where the balance tipped. Industry insiders noted a change too. Sukai's upcoming plans appeared more selective. Fewer public appearances. Longer breaks between projects. A clear emphasis on quality over quantity. To outsiders, it looked like strategy. To fans, it looked like intention. He was choosing time. And time is the one thing fame never gives freely. The most striking reaction came from longtime supporters who had watched Sukai grow from his earliest roles. Many expressed a sense of pride rather than shock. As if they had always known this moment would come. As if this evolution was not a betrayal of the image they loved, but the fulfillment of it. Because strength, after all, is not about constant visibility. It is about knowing when to step back. Sukai never addressed the speculation directly. But weeks later, during a separate appearance, he was asked a simple question about his New Year wish. His answer was brief, measured, and deeply telling. He said he wished for peace. Not success. Not recognition. Peace. That single word landed harder than any confirmation ever could. Fans understood then that the live stream had not gone wrong. It had gone honest. For a few unscripted seconds, the distance between idol and human collapsed. And once that happens, it can never fully be rebuilt. The tiny detail that caused the storm may one day be forgotten, replaced by new stories and new theories. But the feeling it created will remain. The feeling of witnessing a genuine moment in a world built on performance. As the year moves forward, Sukai continues his path quietly, deliberately, carrying forward something the public is no longer fully entitled to see. And perhaps that is the most shocking turn of all. That in an age of constant exposure, the most powerful statement a star can make is choosing what to protect. The live stream ended in minutes, but its echo will last far longer.